So, one pattern I see specifically with very smart abusers is that they like to rules lawyer their victims. And you'll even see this in the beginning stages of a relationship. For example, with a person that you gave a chance to and wouldn't normally have dated, but they were super persistent or very pushy about making you engage with them. And a lot of the basis for that is that they are using the social construct of dating as a way to beat you over the head into like going on a date with them or entertaining them in some way. And so what they're doing is they're like in this case weaponizing a sociological construct and choices you've made within it. So, oh, I've signed up for a dating website and therefore I should be looking for people to date and therefore I should accept a date from offer from this person. And they don't think you legitimately have a choice. They think that you are in a specific role and that you are not doing what you've agreed to do by not accepting their date. They don't see it as, oh, we're just we're seeing if we're interested, and if we're interested we'll like keep going. Like they have a very rigid approach to this dynamic and they're going to argue with you about it. Why are you on the dating website if you aren't going to go on dates with people? Why are you putting yourself forward as being interested in dating when I'm here and I want to date you and you aren't interested in dating me? And so they start by overpowering you with this logic, with this rules lawyering to get you to give in and not stand on your no. That you don't have any boundaries. You shouldn't have boundaries because, you're engaged in this, dating app or something to that effect. And what is the definition that we like for abuse? Abuse is when somebody powers over another person for their own benefit at that person's expense. And that is what they are doing, but like the light version to somebody in these beginning stages. They are powering over you. They're not respecting your no. They don't think you should have any boundaries, and they're going to keep pushing until you give in and give them what they want. They are entirely self-focused. They're not concerned about what you want or need or your perspective on the situation. And so this in the early stages shows up kind of like in these lighter ways. And but once you're knee deep 3 years into a relationship with somebody, now they're weaponizing different social constructs about you against you, or your own value set against you. And the more they learn about how you think and what you believe is right, the more they'll use that in these specific ways. So a victim of abuse can end up being very confused and starting to just lose their grounding because they are not being allowed to have boundaries. They're not being allowed to say no. They're not, the abuser isn't letting them make decisions for themselves like a fully autonomous human being. So often you'll see in abuse spaces people talking about how the abuser will escalate when like a big event happens. And usually the explanation for this is that once they have you locked in, once it would be logistically hard to leave. Once they think they have you trapped, suddenly the mask slips. And while that does occur, and I absolutely am not saying this doesn't occur, but there's another reason why some abusers are triggered into their abuse after a shift like that. They're like an activated sleeper agent. Basically, they have very specific ideas of what dating is, of what marriage is, of what the parent-child relationship is, or like once you bring a kid into your relationship dynamic. And so they are going to switch the shoulds to this new paradigm, this new form. And you might not have been expecting it because you thought, oh, right, normalcy bias. The past is a predictor of the future. In the past we were dating and they seemed to be very 50-50, equal, everything's fine. And then you get married and suddenly they're expecting you to take care of everything. And you're like, wait a minute, this is not the relationship we've had. Why on earth would you expect this? And it's because they have a very specific model of what marriage means, and they are trying to fit you into that model. From their perspective, they think, oh, they're not doing what marriage means. Like they're being a bad husband or wife. And you know, and I got to talk to them about it. Whereas if that's not been the foundation of your relationship, then you are going to be very confused on the other side. This kind of person is very role oriented. They are not person oriented. They are not looking at the organic evolution of relationship. They are looking at it as almost like a contract. We are in this relationship. These are the terms and conditions. If you don't fulfill them, you're wrong. And I get to make you basically perform in this relationship to my expectation. They're the judge, they're the jury, they're the executioner. And that's how, as you give them more access to your life and to you, you sort of give up a little bit of, you know, because when we're in a relationship, we give up a little bit of our autonomy and they give up a little bit of their autonomy. And then we build this, like, you know, life together. So as you're giving up a little, you know, your autonomy and you're moving in, you're sharing space, you're getting legally entwined together, they are taking that opportunity to power over you. The rules lawyer abuser will get you so confused and spun up in your mind because they are using concepts that are social concepts. There is some basis for them, but they're applying it in a way that doesn't make sense to you or your dynamic. Anyway, I hope this makes sense, and I'll talk to you next time.